We chose each other while we were still in college. He even gave me a promise ring, white gold with our names engraved inside. His was a nickname, the stage name he used as a dancer and choreographer, Rebel. After graduation, I relocated from the East Coast to Los Angeles, Rebel's hometown. By mid 1992, we had been married for over 12 years. 12 years of on again, off again loving, of can we not raise a family? Of my increasing insecurity and disillusionment. 12 years of his drinking, drugging, and hanging out late. And one week, I was late. Me, whose cycles had always run more regular and accurate than an Omega watch. Then all I wanted to do was talk to my husband, to finally like lay our hearts bare and decide if this was something we could really do together. I was so scared. But that night, of all nights, was one of those when he didn't come home at all. He wouldn't change. I'd be alone, alone raising a child. I couldn't. I just didn't have that kind of strength. Her medical clinic in downtown Los Angeles was a 30-minute drive from my house, strategically sandwiched between University of Southern California and historic South Central Los Angeles. Their half-page spread in the yellow pages promised confidentiality, safety, and free pregnancy testing, plus free parking. Sign in at the front desk, fill out medical history and consent forms. A clinic employee speaks with me and I confirm my decision. Restrooms in the back. Provide a sample for the pregnancy test. Then have a seat in the waiting room. Cynthia Clarke. I hear my name called maybe 30 minutes later, and I'm directed to the billing desk. $250. The woman behind the desk doesn't look up. That means the test was positive. If it were negative, she would have said $50. That's how they tell you you're pregnant. $250. Then have a seat in the waiting room. I have no idea how long I'll be here. Now, the Essence magazine I brought with me has got to last, so I commit to reading every ad and every article. But I dropped the magazine after a while and my fingers creeped to my mouth. Now I had stopped biting my nails way back in the 4th grade because I wanted to have long, natural nails like my mom's. So instead, my cuticles bore the punishment of my anxiety. They were dark, scarred from decades of tearing and bleeding. I barely noticed when a woman younger than myself takes the adjacent chair and speaks. How are you doing? Okay. I didn't feel like talking, but it kept me from abusing my fingers. I'm not so good. I'm not sure I can go through with this. I switched up, used the fingers of my right hand to pick at the skin of my left. Is someone here with you? No. My boyfriend is outside in the car. He won't come in, but he's waiting for me. And I didn't hear or can't remember everything she said, but she kept coming back to, I don't think I can go through with this. Can you? Cynthia Clarke. My name is called again, and gratefully I snatch up my purse and magazine from the floor. I turn to give a goodbye to the girl, feeling kind of bad that I had tuned her out, but then seeing this look of horror on her face. Wait, you're doing it? No, you can't. What? Then I understand. She's a spy, a plant, an undercover anti-abortion evangelist. I practically bolt towards the clinic employee who's beckoning me from an open doorway. How dare that girl? Aren't things hard enough? How could she? Minutes later on the examining table, my breathing finally slows down to normal. I stop sweating. The doctor gives me a local anesthesia and explains the procedure in more detail. The nurse asks, "Would you like me to hold your hand?" "Yes, please." And after I close my eyes, I hear like a click and then the whispered aspirating of machinery. I had so many options laid before me when I was a child. Blessed with some smarts and some talents, I created drawings and paintings. I wrote poetry, short stories, plays. I got straight A's, and several specialized high schools accepted me, including the School of Music and Art and Bronx Science High. Then going home one day, I shared the elevator with Mrs. Frazier. She was the mother of one of my classmates. "Which high school did you pick, Cynthia?" "Music and art. I'm going to be an artist." "Artist? But you have such promise, such potential." "What a waste." Mrs. Frazier exited on the 11th floor, leaving me to ride up 6 more flights alone. And mommy was still at work, daddy too, of course. My brother out playing, I guess. The latest issue of Look magazine, June 1968, had arrived. On the cover was the newly widowed and pregnant Ethel Kennedy, surrounded by her 10 children. 10 children. And her husband had just been assassinated. I started crying and I couldn't stop. My mother returned home and she was terrified at my condition. "Poor Bobby Kennedy." That's what I wanted to say. "How can he be dead? He was going to do such great things." But that's not what came out of my mouth. I was screaming, wailing. "I don't want to go to music and art. I want to go to Bronx Science. But it's past the deadline to choose." My mommy tried to comfort me. She said she would fix it. And somehow she did. The following year, I was on my way to the Bronx High School of Science and firmly on a track for pre-medical studies in college, which turned out to be one of the disasters of my life. Thank you, Mrs. Frazier. I feel a tap on my shoulders. I open my eyes and the nurse is nodding. "We're done." 30 minutes of recovery time. Then another clinic staffer hands me a small pink pill and a paper cup of water and watches while I swallow everything. She drops the blister package of the remaining birth control pills into a plain white paper bag along with a prescription. Heading for the exit, I see the spy again, talking with another unsuspecting patient. Should I blow her cover? Should I angrily expose her? No, perhaps this patient wants to hear. Let her choose. I never told my husband the decision I'd made. And by the time O.J. Simpson was being slow speed chased along the freeways of Los Angeles, June 1994, I was a newly divorced woman. Too many times in my life, I've let what someone else does or says or wants make my decisions for me. And friends, my Christianity assures me that I will meet the being that I couldn't keep so many years ago, but it'll be in a new time and on a shimmering new plane where human fear and judgment is extinguished and there's nothing but all-encompassing love. Until then, am I sometimes sad? Do I ever regret? Sometimes, yeah. But should anyone else ever have the right to make that choice for me? Thank you so much.
Yay. Awesome. Beautiful.